Hey everybody, today I take a $2,500 lens and match it with a $400 camera body. Before we find out which lens I put onto which camera, go ahead and subscribe and click that notification bell. I appreciate it. The other day I was sitting around contemplating sports photography because, well, that's what I do, and got to thinking as I was looking at my Sony a6000 all alone on the desk, what would happen if I put the Sony 100-400mm 4.5 to 5.6 G Master lens on that camera. So I did. I rented one, but then I had to find something to shoot. Baseball. That's what it, wait, what? I know. Kind of crazy to think about putting a $2,500 lens, which is out of the price range for most entry-level sports photographers, but sometimes you just gotta have some fun. Wait. You guys don't need to see the garage door opening up again, me getting in the car and driving down the road to the baseball game. Let's just go to the game. Hey, well look at that. There are no players on the field. Why? Well, because I showed up 3 hours early to get you guys this footage so I can show you my positioning as I cover this, what turned out to be a baseball tournament. So you're gonna see my positioning, where I line myself up, as well as some of the great images that I was able to capture. So sit back and enjoy. You just saw my positioning as well as photos that I took while in those positions, if that makes any sense at all. Now we're going to jump into some photos and we're going to look at these images a little more closely. But before we do that, don't forget you can follow me on all my social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. Now let's jump into these photos. All right, so we're in Lightroom. We're going to start with the first photo right here. As you can see, it's just a basic shot. I can't believe these kids only catch the ball one-handed these days. That's just crazy. All right, so let's zoom in a little one-to-one. It's not as sharp as it probably should be. We're at 279 millimeters for this lens. And I think it should be sharper personally. It's okay. And if you printed this out, it would look fine. All right, let's move on to the next one. Here we got the guy batting, which is way cool. And just to let you know, these are all straight out of the camera. I have not done any editing at all. So let's check this one out, a little one-to-one comparison. You can see this one's not too bad. It's relatively sharp. I still think I'm at 1600 for the shutter speed. I should be able to read this a lot better. ISO 400, 5.6 aperture, 282 millimeter. Not bad. Right, next up, and of course you always have to get the really close-up shots. Now this one, the player was probably about 2 or 3 feet away from me, really close, and you can see it's a tack sharp photo. Looks really nice, I like it. Tempted to edit it, but no, we're not doing that right now. Let's move along. All right, now let's watch this. Here we got a set of photos. I think there's about 12 or 13 of them. We can see how well the lens as well as the a6000 combination was able to track focus the entire way as he's running towards me. So you got one, he's still coming, and I want you to see this. It is in focus. It's nice and sharp, nice and focused like it should be. He's still coming. doesn't lose focus one iota. It never did lose focus during this entire sequence of photos. Yes, the exposure is a little bit off, which is fine, but out here it's not bad. But the key here is you can see it's focused all the way from the first photo to the last photo. It is in focus. Now here you go. Here's one that's really nicely in focus. As you can see, right here, this is on the third base. I'm not too far off third base, and it is just nice and sharp. Look at that. You can read everything nice and clear. Another nice photo. This is at 274 millimeters, 1/2000th of a second. Up next, there we got the pitcher. Nice looking shot right there. Just about to release the ball. You got a runner on first base. Let's zoom in a little more. Not quite as sharp as it should be. I still think these should be a lot sharper than they are, especially at 1/2000th of a second. At 5.6, these should be really tack sharp by now. Next up is a close-up of the pitcher. This is at 400 millimeters, as opposed to this was 156 millimeters. So you got 400. Let's do a comparison, shall we? Let's take a look at both these side by side. And you can see them. Not bad, not bad. But when you zoom in, you should be able to read this. You should be able to read this. Should be nice and clear. Like on this one, you can see this pretty good. It's not too bad, but I still think they should be a lot sharper than they are. Right. Let's move over to another photo. Let's go to this one here. This one's nice. When we zoom in, you can see, you can read that nicely. Got the ball right there. Got good separation in the background. Got some good colors to it. I like this photo. That one looks pretty good. It happened really quickly. That's why his head's kind of chopped off. I kind of chopped it off a little bit, not on purpose, but hey, you know, it happens sometimes. You gotta be quick out there, right? We're gonna end this with a side-by-side comparison. This right here was taken with my Nikon D7200 and a Sigma 150-500 millimeter lens. And right next to it, we're gonna put this up. We have the Sony a6000. It's the closest comparison as I can get. So we got the 7200 right here, a6000 on the right side. 290 millimeters, 279. This is a little faster, 1/2000th of a second, a 1600th of a second. f6.0 and 5.6, relatively close. So let's do a zoom in. We'll see which one looks better, shall we? Pretty clear. Sigma and the Nikon look good. This one, it's not very sharp. It should be a lot sharper than that. Going down a little more. See, it's just not as sharp as the Nikon is, which is quite interesting considering the lens, like I've said, is $2,500 as opposed to the Sigma lens I picked up for $500 used. I shot about 848 photos. Obviously you saw just a couple of those just to kind of get a quick look, a good feel for how the system is working together. My personal opinion, should be a lot sharper. The photos should be much sharper than what I'm seeing. Especially the last photo we're comparing, you know, we got the D7200, which is a century old basically in camera terms. And actually, I got one more thing to show you. I took some photos just for a good comparison. This photo right here. This was shot at 400 millimeters. Now the next one was shot at 300 millimeters, and then roughly 221 millimeters. But let's zoom in. So this should be really clear. If it was a little soft, I could probably handle it, but this should be really clear considering this is a G Master lens from Sony, $2,500. Come on. There's your 300. It's getting a little better. It's a little clearer. Then you got the 200. That looks really good compared to the 400. Here, let's do a side-by-side comparison of these as well. Okay, so he's a little bit off. I can't quite get that. But you can kind of see there. Okay, let's zoom in again. See right there? That's a lot better than what I'm seeing on this side. That just doesn't look good. That should be so sharp. Yes, we're at 400 millimeters. We're kind of pushing the lens, obviously, but still, it's a G Master lens. Come on. What's wrong, Sony? That should be so nice. Again, that's not bad. I can live with that. I still think that should be sharper as well. My thoughts on the lens? Well, these photos should be a lot sharper than they are. Maybe if I had another camera body to try on, maybe another Sony camera body, the upper lens, one of the 7AR3, 5, 6, 7s, whatever they're called these days, might be a little better, but I think these should be a lot nicer. It could possibly be the lens. It is a rental lens, so maybe the lens is part of the problem. I don't know. I need to look at some more of these photos and do a little more examining. Was it worth it? Was it worth taking this $2,500 camera and putting it on this little Sony mirrorless A6000? I don't know if it's worth it, but you know what? It was a blast. It was a lot of fun. And I got to see how well this combination would work. Now, should you do this if you're just getting started in sports photography? No, do not purchase this lens. You will go bankrupt real fast. You have to sell your first and second born, and it won't be worth it. It won't really help you. Get to the basics first and learn that, and then maybe you can do like I did, have a little fun and get this lens. Would you purchase this lens if you were just getting started in sports photography? Leave a comment below, let me know. And you know what? If you share this video with someone you think that will like it, Santa might bring you something fun and put it under your Christmas tree. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Have a great one, and I will see you in the next video.